Hey folks, today it's story time because I'm going to tell you guys about the first paper computer game that has ever been made. Our story starts a long time ago, many years before paper games were a thing, before Keiko KT, before IPGS. Yeah, that's right, we're the original paper gamers. You want to fight about it? The story starts when we were kids, so Chris and I were hanging out all the time, and it starts in particular on one day when I went over to Chris's house for a sleepover. I didn't know it at the time, I had no idea, but Chris had been working on a game. He'd always been interested in making games.
I remember at least feeling like I worked on it for a very long time. And I had this idea, or like I'd wanted to make a game. I think that was like the driving point. And it wasn't that I wanted to make a game on paper, it was that I wanted to make a game.
Right.
And I didn't know how to program, so I just did the only thing I could think of, which was to put it on paper. And I was doing it in the style of Indiana Jones or Hugo or any of those games.
So when I got there, Chris was just so excited. He was like bouncing up and down. He's all like, I made a game. By the way, that's not what Chris actually looked like when he was a kid. Like he had more hair. He didn't have the glasses then. This is what he actually looked like. So we had to play the game pretty much immediately. He called it Paper Computer Game. Yes, that was the actual title of the game. Before the game started, he started by telling me some backstory, like what happens to lead into this game. And the story started in a place that was very relatable to me because the game was about me, Zach. And it starts with me arriving at my friend Chris's house for a sleepover. So already, relatable. I could get into the head of this character. I don't know what it is, but somehow I could relate. It's like, whoa, I've been there. Like,
it is kind of interesting that I decided to, like, the story I was going to tell was just like you as yourself, like in a heightened version of the real world. And I think part of that was that it was like, oh, I'm going to personalize this. I'm going to make this something that you can't get somewhere else.
But this time, when I got inside Chris's house, Chris wasn't there. His parents were there, but something was different. They had changed. They weren't themselves anymore, and they started to chase me. They chased me up the stairs, and I locked myself in the bathroom, but they were banging on the bathroom door. That door wasn't gonna hold forever. I had to think of another way out. And that is where the backstory ended and the actual game started. I was already hooked. I mean, the way it started from where I was in real life, that drew me in, and then this creepy twist got me intrigued. Like, what is going on? What is the meaning of this? Like what turned Chris's parents against me? What happened to Chris? What is going on?
In my memory, it was that, like, I just assumed that you would take that for granted, that everyone's out to kill you and that's it. But, like, you wanted to know why, and, like, it kind of forced me to come up with some semblance of a story. And I think it was something about, like, some noxious gas or some mind-altering thing.
So I was going out the window, and that is where the first screen started. It starts with me climbing out the window, like, to get to this apple tree. And by the way, this apple tree doesn't actually exist in real life in front of Chris's real house. But in the game, there was an apple tree, and the only way out was to climb out onto it. But there was only one problem. I didn't know how to play yet. Okay, so how do I climb?
You just say you're gonna climb the tree.
Okay, I'll climb out onto the tree.
It works. You're in the tree.
I'd played Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, which is a computer game, which, by the way, I have a video on that because it partially inspired paper computer games. But anyway, from that game, I learned that you should basically try to pick up as many things as you can. So, of course, I was going to try and do that here as well. Can I take an apple?
Sure.
And he pulled out a page, which he called inventory, and he marked it with a big E for inventory. I was like, isn't inventory spelled with an I, not an E?
No, it isn't.
No matter what I said, he just wouldn't believe me.
Instead of an I for inventory, I wrote E. And similarly, I think I was just like, no, it's inventory. I don't know, whatever.
Inventory.
Yeah, I think you pronounced it inventory.
And that's why inventory screens in paper computer games have had an E on them ever since. Can I also break off a twig and take it?
Sure.
And I got the twig in my inventory. This was a whole new thing. I could collect things in the world, pretty much anything, and use them however I wanted, even if Chris hadn't intended for that thing to be collected. The possibilities were endless. Whoa. After I climbed down from the tree, Chris's parents were gonna come find me. I had to hide somewhere, and the easiest place was in the garage owned by Chris's neighbor. So I went in there, but I wasn't alone. The neighbor was in there too, and just like Chris's parents, he wasn't himself either.
Especially at that time, like there was a lot of like movie tie-in games, and the movie is like about, maybe it's like a comedy, and it's about like, it's like a workplace comedy, and you go through the office in the movie. You know, the guy goes to the office, he has like interactions with his coworkers, and you know, he goes home, whatever, and they make a video game about it. And now they have to make a game, and they're kind of lazy, but like they would just inexplicably make, like, I don't know, the copier like shoots deadly paper at you, and you have to like jump over it, and like there's a dog that's like everywhere in the office for some reason, and like people throwing staplers at you. I don't know, like everything's hostile and like trying to kill you. And so I think I like just absorbed that as a norm of games and just applied that to that first game. So like I was just kind of looking around my house where I grew up, and so that's where you started. Like I didn't put you in your house, I put you in my house. And then, you know, you go to our next door neighbor and like his dog and stuff, and you know, they're both very nice people, and like they were like actually like a kind of a second family to me, but like in the game they're trying to kill you.
Excuse me? People are trying to kill me. Can you help?
He kills you.
Oh no! Do I have to start over?
No, it's okay. You can still save game.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. When you save game in a computer game, that's what you do usually before you die. When you die, usually you load a game that you had saved before. Shouldn't it be load game?
No, it's save game. Just say save game and you'll be back.
That's how like save game came about, is because, and this is how a lot of that stuff came about, is because like I just didn't know how to read or spell or anything, and I was just like maybe a little dyslexic, I don't know. But like I just forgot that it should have been load game.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to save your game,
like,
and then load a game, and that was how it was supposed to be. But like save game just sounded better in my head, and I just like went with it for a while until you pointed that out, and then I didn't want to like admit that I was wrong, so I just doubled down on it.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter that I didn't save a game for me to load, or I mean save game 2 now?
Nope.
Okay. Save game.
Okay, you're alive again, and the neighbor is still coming for you. What do you do?
I'll try talking to the neighbor.
You already tried that, and he killed you.
Yeah, but this time I'll say something different. Hey, why are you trying to kill me?
You are an intruder.
There was that like kind of tension between how you wanted to talk to everyone and I wanted everyone to kill you.
Save game. Okay, this time I'll say, okay, you're trying to kill me because I'm intruding? I'm sorry about that. I'll get out of your way in a second.
Not good enough.
He kills you.
This is working. I'm gaining information. I'm learning about his motives. I'm gonna convince him not to kill me. Oh, I wasn't gonna give up on this so quickly. I kept trying at this for legitimately a half an hour. Maybe I could help you and we could work together.
I don't need your help.
Save game. How did you get to be so hateful?
I'm just sick of intruders.
Save game. Oh, so you get a lot of intruders? Where do they all come from?
Many have tried to take refuge here.
Save game. I understand why that could upset you with so many people coming in here. Maybe we could...
Kill them!
Save game. Who are you working for?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Aha, so you are working for someone. Are they paying you well enough for
Not
this?
enough to put up with you!
Save game. Is this really what you wanted to be when you were a kid?
What? How dare you?
Save game. Have you ever tried being nice? Were you always mean, or did you start nice
How
and
dare
change?
you call me mean? I've always been
What are
nice.
your goals
Except
in
for
life?
with
What do you
intruders like
hope
you.
to achieve?
Your death!
Save game. Maybe we can make a trade. You help me, I help you.
I'll help you die!
Save game. And then we had to stop because it was time for dinner and then time to wash up. But for the rest of the night, Chris was super insecure about the game. He didn't think I liked it.
Do you really think it's good?
Meanwhile, I was hooked. I couldn't stop thinking about that game. Like, when are we gonna get to play it next? But Chris wouldn't believe me. Thankfully, there would be more time to play before it was time for bed. But this time, I decided to try something different. Okay, fine. I'll hit him on the head with the ore that's on the ground.
It works! He's knocked out.
Luckily, the neighbor had an inflatable boat which I could use to travel on the stream behind Chris's house to get away.
Right, there's just like magical geographical changes. Like in reality, there is no stream behind my neighbor's house. There's no stream anywhere near the house I grew up.
From here, it seemed like the whole town had gone crazy. I mean, whatever had turned Chris's parents against me and Chris's neighbor as well, seems like they'd turned everyone against me. And what happened to Chris? For some reason, the stream led to a weird castle, and the castle was guarded by more of these guys. Getting inside was not going to be easy. Same game.
Like a large part of me always wanted to make an action game. Like I always want, which is like impossible on paper, but like I was always like trying to make it an action game, you know? Like basically like a lot of the puzzles were just like beating up bad guys, and you had to figure out the right pattern of who to attack and how to win the puzzle of the fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Same game. Inside, there was a series of challenges, screens with puzzles and enemies, Unfortunately, we don't exactly remember them. But what we do remember is what I found at the end, because in the final room of the castle were my friends who apparently had been kidnapped. I didn't know. But my friends Colette and Ari. Oh hey, what are you guys doing here?
We were captured. Help!
Mind you, the real Colette and Ari weren't actually there in real life. This was just them as characters, which is why Colette was portrayed as a typical damsel in distress rather than her actual self. We were little kids. We fell for stereotypes. Okay, I think this lever should release us.
Quick, someone's coming.
And we fell. But luckily, I still had the inflatable raft in my inventory. So, I quickly pulled it out, and we made a soft landing in the water.
Oh, where are we?
It looked like we were in the sewers, and our adventure looked like it was just beginning. But that's where the game ended. So we would have to find out what happens next. I would have to play the next paper computer game, The Sewers. So there you have it. That's the first paper computer game ever made. There was no Zuvak, no the fat guy, no the rich kid. Certainly there was no tutorial bot. But nonetheless, this was the game that would lay the foundations for every paper computer game that would come after it, made by Chris or by me or by anyone else. And not just by establishing traditions that would carry on to this day, like save game or using an E for the inventory screens, but through its imagination, its sense of adventure. It was this game's weird, dreamlike tone, how sometimes it seemed realistic and scary, but there were things about it that couldn't have existed, like a dream. And the story that was started in this game, this exact same story, would also continue up to the present day. Because the next game, The Sewers, followed immediately after this one, continued from it, and the next game after that continued from The Sewers. And as Zach, the character, continued to have adventures, he would find out more about the enemies he was facing. He would find out about the company and make new allies like Zuvak. And after that, my paper computer game started out as a continuation of the adventures with Zuvak and later took us to new worlds where we met Ginkus and Balzac Lobotron and more. And even some of you guys have been building on this universe, like how Yak Games showed us a branch of the company called More, and the Sonic Activist introduced us to Zuvak's sister, and the Port Gamer Nation had Zuvak team up with one of the alien gas creatures of Saturn, and all of it started here in this adventure, this game. All those stories are built on this story that started it all, the beginning of the PCG universe.
Yeah, it's like a rich set of world, and I think it's rich because of how much time has happened, like how many different people have participated at different points in their lives.
Yeah.
You know, and just like made, and like, because I think what's interesting about it, and it is kind of like a dreamlike quality that's kind of unique to PCGs, is that it is like kind of at the surface, you know, like it's a little id-ish, like a little dreamish.
Yeah.
Like, because of how quick they are to make, at least how quickly I make them, they're a little bit more disposable in that sense, so that it's just like a little bit more of just like what's in your head. And the fact that you also have to draw something, I think engages a little bit more of a primal part of your brain that it's just like that just a little bit of that dream layer that's coming through. So you're just kind of seeing these different group of people kind of collectively dreaming. It is like exploring a dream. Like, it's right, it's like kind of an interactive dream a little bit.
We wouldn't realize for several more games that the random enemies I'd been fighting worked for an evil organization called the Company. But the mystery of what made Chris's parents go evil and attack me in the first place, setting Zach off on his first adventure, wouldn't be made clear until just recently. In my PCG, Zuvak, The Life and Times of a Clown on a Stick. That game is a prequel adventure which takes place during the events of this first paper computer game, among other games from that era. You can watch me and Chris play it in the playlist linked in the description below. So this video, this is our story of how Chris and I started our paper computer game adventures. If you want to see other people's stories, Flay's PCG started a thing where everyone's making videos telling how they first got into paper computer games. If you want to see those videos, I'll link that playlist in the description below, and you can even add to it by making a video of telling what got you into paper computer games in the first place and what you liked about them. And just add the hashtag PCG story in the description. It's simple as that. A big thanks to Chris for appearing in this video and for reminding me of some of the details about this game and for creating paper computer games in the first place. The clips of Chris talking about this are only brief parts of a much longer interview. We didn't just talk about the first game, we also talked about paper computer games in general, how they developed, and how he thought about them. Not to mention how he created Zuvak. I'm planning to release the full interview as a video. If you're watching this in the future, I'll put an end card with a link to the video during the outro and in the description, of course. I hope you enjoyed this video, folks. It was a lot of fun to make, but it definitely took a lot of work. So let me know if you enjoyed it and what you thought, and especially if I should make more videos like this in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, folks. You guys are the best as always, and yeah.